Shalom, I'm going to entitle this. Well, this is a response to Welcome to the Smoke Room with Vocab Malone. The other title is Proof Vocab Malone is a devil, not the devil, but a devil. Now, when you look up the word devil, diablos, Satan means adversary, meaning enemy. You know, you have U.S. troops fighting against the Vietnamese, Viet Cong. Well, they would the Viet Cong, Vietnamese that are enemies to America, would consider them adversaries, which enemy combatants, which the word in the Hebrew is simply shaitan, which means enemy. Then you have the word devil, which goes back to the word diabolos, and it actually means false accuser. And that's what this guy does. And you're gonna hear it. I don't know how long this is gonna be. I'm waiting for a phone call. But this you're gonna listen to it, and he knows everything about the One Westers. You know, he's speaking to this guy. He said this guy ran into a group of Israelites and they come off like GMS. And I don't know if he's an actor. I don't know if this was a setup thing. I don't know if he's making it up. But he said those guys, GMS, he mentioned, they didn't say they were GMS, kind of accepted him in because of his fro. I looked at this guy, I said, this guy, he got the features and the tone of his voice. He sounds like a small hat. Now, he can have a so-called small hat father and a Jake mother. And that's where the fro came from. He doesn't come off to me as an Israelite. He comes off to me as a tear. That's for you, Paul Kersey. For you said the Irish dude that the Apostle Gabar spoke to. I had to walk away. I was really under the weather at that time. But when I got there, I wasn't. But then it was cool. I came back, I don't know, 20 minutes later. So, but anyway, this Irish dude, but I was standing right there. I was standing right behind Apostle Rhymelob, and he manned the camera. So I was right there. So Apostle Gabar was talking to this guy. I clearly he was an Irishman, but he had dark features. He had dark black hair, beard, facial features. He looked like he can pass for an Italian. Didn't have that Scandinavian look to him. We don't know if he was a Jake or not. Paul Kersey said, "Oh, you think he's a Jake?" And Paul Kersey mentions this thing about Oliver Cromwell, which I know about some of that history. There was a lot of corruption in the church, and he said they were all kicked out. You can't kick out Israelites. Israelites are scattered all over the earth. You're gonna have Israelites that look like Edomites. I keep saying it, but this devil right here, this demon. All right, I also call him a demon because a demon means intelligent. He is intelligent, but he's a demon. He's set to, make us look bad. And he brings up the same questions he always does about the deity of the Messiah. We believe that the Messiah is a deity. This guy says something about reincarnation. And what else does this devil say? About faith. Are they faith-based? You know goddamn well that all the One Westers, ISUPK, IUIC, GMS, Sakari, and all the other groups that kind of stem from them, either by watching the videos or whatever the case may be. The One Westers believe that the Messiah, that the Lord that came on the scene was the Messiah. You know that. and you know that we're going to be delivered, you know that we need a savior, and you know because you confronted us about that. And when I say that, confronted us as one Westers. So you know, why would we be reading out of the New Testament if we didn't believe in the Messiah? And then you say about the law, oh, you got to keep the law. You never said that, because we all broke the law. We believe that we're going to be saved based upon faith, going back to faithful Abraham. We're not going to be saved based upon the law because we broke the law. So we're guilty. And the sentence is death. What is that, James 2? You're guilty of one law, you're guilty of all. You break the Sabbath, it's just like you committed adultery, just like you committed murder. So that became an act. The act that you committed to breaking the law means that you're under the curse of death. That's why we need a savior. So you know that, you devil. You know that. And then, like I said, this guy brings up reincarnation. He frowns upon the whole reincarnation thing. We made it crystal clear. Even when you go to the commentary, the Bible Hub, and you read the Cambridge for Schools and Colleges, the Ellicott for English readers, and what's the others? Henry something. I mostly read those top two, and they say without saying it that Elijah is going to come back, but they don't tell you who he's going to come back as. So they kind of believe it, but they don't want to use the word reincarnation. And reincarnation is definitely in the scriptures. And the reason why you can't understand it is because you're an Edomite until you prove otherwise. You may be a Hamite, you may be an Ishmaelite. You put that Arab regalia on and you look just like an Ishmaelite, man. But you're not an Israelite. And if you are, you're not an Israelite of the Most High. Galatians 6, around about the 14th verse. Just kind of quoting scriptures, we know the scriptures. But I'm gonna let this. I'm at the. Another thing. This guy mentioned GMS, that he met these guys that he believes from GMS on the job. So he said, "Oh, GMS has jobs." I've been working for Uber since I've been signed up with them since 2017. And before that, I had other jobs dealing with logistics and so forth. So what the hell are you talking about? Apostle Gabar and Apostle Rhymelob are master carpenters, meaning they do everything that has to deal with the house. Manata Zakbar is a master electrician. So what the fuck are you talking about? But that's what the devil does. That's what the devil does. And mainly what this devil does is say that we're not the people. But I mean, it's good that this devil is around, because it gives, I wouldn't have a topic. I mean, I would come up with a topic, but let me just look up the word devil. Devil. Okay, that's in the New Testament. Let me just go. Okay, then. Now this is the spiritual demon Satan. It is a physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Let me just look up the word devil. Because unlike you Christians, we go into there's a thing called etymology. Look it up. And I may even go to Etymon online, but they hit or miss. So let's deal with the word devil. If you can read Greek, the word is diabolos. Diabolos. Diabolos.
Strong's G1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
Diabolos, diabolos. So let's come down. So when we call you a devil, this is why we call you a devil. Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. The fact that you say that we're not the people and we are the people, that makes you a false accuser. A calumniator, hope I read that right. False accuser, slanderer, metaphorically applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with the devil. And Vocab Malone's is a devil. Let's look up the word slander. Let's look up the word slander. Okay, let me find the tab here. And let me go here. Look up the word slander. Definition. In law, the action of crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. So technically, we can actually sue you. Now, Alex Jones is in court right now. He was convicted of slander. He said that situation never happened. Now he's in court. And they made him admit it too. So you're a slanderer, which is a devil. Make false and damaging statements about someone. Yeah, when you say that we're not the people and we are the people, that makes you a slanderer. Now you can believe what you want to believe. Oh, you also believe that there's no such thing as Edomites, that they were done away with. I'm waiting for the proof on that. So let's listen to this devil in this small hat with the fro. The first thing that popped in my head, I said, first thing popped in my head, I see a guy like that. I said, his father is a small hat. His mother's his goofy mother. Well, I don't know his mother. His mother is a black woman. Let me take that back. See, we apologize if we say something, you know, because I don't know who his father and his mother is. So let's listen to a little bit of this.
That Solomon thing that there's nothing new under the sun. That reincarnation is a thing. You're pushing that. That was very interesting. But they were.
It says there's nothing new under the sun. That means everything is a car, a 52 Chevy that's broken down, goes back into the ground, and you have a 2002 Chevy Equinox from the ground where you had the, you know what I mean? A tree dies and it grows again, as long as the roots are there. Everything is reincarnated, but he didn't say anything. He mentioned that one scripture in Ecclesiastes in the scriptures, but it clearly says, and there's plenty of scriptures that prove that reincarnation is a biblical concept. But the main one that we use, that's the only one we pretty much use. We used to use a whole bunch of scriptures. That's the only one that the go-to scriptures is Malachi 4, last couple of verses, verse 5 and 6. Matthew 11, the Lord explains who John is, that John was Elijah. And I should go to the NLT and NET, maybe the NIV, and see how that's read. And Matthew 17, it's clearly out of the Messiah's mouth, because John didn't know. That's why when they said, "Are you one of those prophets? Or you this guy? You that guy?" And he said, "Nope." He said, "Are you Elijah?" He said, "Nope." So they'll say, "See, he said no." Yeah, he said no because he didn't know. You don't remember former things, but we do remember that we're Israel. The Most High is opening up who we are. So let me go to let me have a little fun with this. Let me go to, hope you can hear me. Let's go to the NLT. I believe that means the New Living Testament. I believe, could be wrong. Let's go to Malachi. Malachi 4. Okay, look, I am sending you the prophet Elijah before the great and dreadful day of the Lord arrives. That's getting ready to happen, the utter destruction of Babylon the Great. His preaching will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the hearts of the children to their fathers. Otherwise, I will come and strike the land with a curse. Now, John said to the wicked scribes and Pharisees, who told you that, I'm paraphrasing, who told you that you shall flee from the wrath to come? The wrath is this, the great and dreadful day of the Lord arrival. When he comes, he's coming with fire. Read again. Look, I am sending you the prophet Elijah before the great. So when was he sent? What's the fulfillment of that? It was John. And then it was Abba Bivens is Elijah. No doubt about it. Let me go to what is it? Is there NET? NET right here. NET. I believe that stands for New English Translation. It says, look, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the great and terrible day of the Lord arrival. He will encourage fathers and their children to return to me. Oh, I like that. So that I will not come and strike the earth with judgment. He is going to strike the earth with judgment, but the elect has to be gathered first. So let's try another one. Let's try the English Standard Version. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet for the great and awesome day of the Lord. The Lord's getting ready to come. And he will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the land with a decree of utter destruction. That's ultimately what the Most High is going to do. And it can't be turned back because it's written all throughout New Testament, the prophetic scriptures in the New Testament. So now let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go to NLT. And let's go to Matthew 11. Oh, 11 verse 11, right? I tell you the truth, of all who have ever lived, none is greater than John the Baptist. Now, ISUPK says, oh, John the Baptist should have followed the Lord. He fell out the truth. No, he was a fulfillment of Isaiah and Malachi to clear the way, for the Messiah, because he spoke about the Messiah. He baptized the Messiah. What did he say? He said, you should be baptized in me. I'm not worthy to lace your sandals. So how in the hell did he fall off? Yet even the least person in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he is. I'll tell you what that means. The disciples were commoners. They were not in high positions. They were fishermen. They were, the Lord was a carpenter. His father was a carpenter. Whatever your father was, that's whatever trade your father had, you learned that trade. That's what so-called small hats do. If they had a printing press, they teach their sons that, and their sons become experts, And when the father gets old, they retire, they give it to their sons. It says, and from the time John the Baptist began preaching until now, the kingdom of heaven has been forcefully advancing, and violent people are attacking it. The violent people are attacking it was talking about when the Roman army took us over. That's what it means. In the kingdom of heaven, that's in Luke 17, I believe. The kingdom of heaven are the children of Israel. Ezekiel 37, I always pull that, one of my favorite chapters in the scriptures. That rising up of the bones and the dry bones in the valley and them coming together, that's the kingdom. So the kingdom is here. It's here on earth, but it has to be established. The Most High has to give us a power, and we're almost there. It said, for before John came, all the prophets and the law of Moses looked forward. And when you go back to Malachi, the 4th verse, I believe, it mentions about the law of Moses. It says, look forward to this present time. And if you are willing to accept what I say, this is the Lord speaking. Do I have to click on the red letter? Matter of fact, let me do that. Let me go to the red letter. Red letter. Oh, look at that. That's the Lord talking. And if you are willing to accept what I say, he is Elijah. Who's Elijah? He was just talking about John. Among all men, women that were born of men, children, is none greater than John. And then he said, it says, for before came all the prophets of the Lord, Moses looking forward of this present time, right? And Moses looking forward to this present time. So the Most High showed Moses the Messiah. The Most High showed Moses the end of this man's system. It says, 14th verse, and if you are willing to accept what I say, he is Elijah, the one the prophet said would come. How can you get around that? Vocab Malone. This is in the red letter. Let me read again. 11th verse. I tell you the truth, above all who have ever lived, none is greater than John the Baptist. Why do you say he was so great? All he did was baptize people and said that he was a forerunner before the Lord. But what made him great? When he was Elijah. Yet even Elijah rose up the dead. Yet even the least person in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he is. I was talking about the disciples because they're going to have a higher position in the kingdom. It says, and from the time of John the Baptist began preaching until now, the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites, has been forcefully advancing, and violent people, the Romans, are attacking it. For before John came, all the prophets and the law of Moses looked forward to this present time. And if you are willing to accept what I say, he is Elijah. Who is Elijah? John is Elijah, the one the prophet said will come. This is why nobody takes vocab seriously. Anytime he rolls up on a camp, we if he asks a question concerning the scripture, we give him the answer. Now, if he doesn't like the answer, okay, then go with say I don't like the answer. But why are you going to keep coming around with the same list of questions? And this is okay. Let me see. Teacher Elijah must come. Let me see. Get up. I want to go to the point. I'll start the 9th verse. Let me do this. For this guy accused me. Well, that's not the words of the Lord. Well, this is the red letter, right? As they went back down the mountain, the Lord commanded them, don't tell anyone what you have seen until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. Then his disciples asked him, why do the teachers of religious law insist that Elijah must return before the Messiah cometh? Because those higher ups, those doctors of the law, the scribes and the Pharisees, they read the only book that they had was the law, the writings, and the Old Testament, the prophets, and within that was the history. So they were saying that. So they questioned whether that man in the wilderness, living out there in the wilderness, was actually Elijah. They were questioning it, and they told him that we were sent. We here, we were sent. It says the Lord replied, Elijah is indeed coming first to get everything ready. But I tell you, now it says Elijah is indeed coming first to get everything ready. Who is that? That's Abba Bivens. That's Abba Bivens. That's Abba Bivens. Well, what if you're wrong? I'm not wrong. That's Abba Bivens. And the men that taught us came up under Abba Bivens. The three principal men, Marsha, Arya, and Yaikwab. And that's why we teach the way we teach today. And the Most High gave us even more information about the scriptures. It says, but I tell you, Elijah has already come. That was when he was John, but he wasn't recognized, and they chose to abuse him. They finally got his head chopped off. And in the same way, they will also make the Son of Man suffer, meaning not get your head chopped off, but he was going to get put to death. Then the disciples, the 12 disciples, you numbskulls out there, realized he was talking about John the Baptist. Now, Vocab Malone did a video saying, yep, that all makes sense, but really, the main precept that you got to go to is a Luke 1:17. Well, let's go to Luke 1:17. This is all basics, man, which is good to keep going back and the basics, go into the breakdowns over and over again. Apostle Gabar says, what's the term? Practice is the father of skill, something like that. I'll start from here. Let me click on the red letter. Okay, is that the Lord talking? Wait a minute. Yeah, try it again. Okay, so I guess the Lord ain't talking here. Let me take this off. And he will turn many Israelites. I like this. He will turn many Israelites to the Lord their power. He will be a man with the spirit and power of Elijah. Now it says in 1 Corinthians 14, the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. He will prepare. So the spirit that was in John was the actual spirit the spirit that's in John, it was the actual spirit of Elijah, the prophet. Reincarnation right there. Prepare the people for the coming of the Lord. That was his job. When he prepared them, he was taking out the scene. He will turn like a movie. You make a movie, a guy, you got the main character, then you got his buddy, and he dies halfway into the movie. Well, that was his role. You no longer see him in the movie. It said he will turn the heart of the father to the children, and he will cause those who are rebellious to accept the wisdom and glory, the wisdom of the godly. Let's come over here. Like I said, this is basic stuff. But the reason why vocab can't get it, just go to Daniel 12 and 10. The wicked shall not understand.
Were very combative in the sense of they could not accept that anybody outside of their group could be able to add any form of value. These gentlemen I'm dealing with now, not a clue, which
You get. I don't know if this guy is making this up, but I don't think if these guys are GMS, this guy would definitely be suspect, man. I mean, you hear the what is the oinkiness? Is that if that's a word of his voice? This guy sounds like a small hat. He sounds like a small hat. He looks like a small hat in the face.
group they'd be a part of. There was a interaction in our break room when I first got hired, and they were, they asked.
No bass in his voice, no flavor to his voice. Just oinky form of speaking. What is this guy? Vocab drinking some healthy drink. Yeah, Vocab. We've been getting on him about him being too fat, so he's been losing that weight. You know, he's tired. I'm tired of GMS calling me fat, calling me a fat head. I'm gonna do the right thing. So bravo to you, Vocab. Bravo to you. You're showing some form of discipline.
I'm liking the job, and I was like, man, I feel blessed. I feel like the Lord is putting me in a good spot. And they're like, he's just like, all praise to the Most High, all praise to the Most High. I started catching that vibe, and
let me tell you the rule. Okay? Just hold on. It's the rule of 4. It's the rule of 4. Me and a buddy came up with it, partially in jest. A guy has 4 shots to use the phrase "the Most High" in a conversation before you suspect you're dealing with a Hebrew Israelite. The first time, hey man, that could just be what.
Let's go to the scriptures. Put in Most High. Most High. Well, what do you know? Most and High occurs 98 times in 48 verses in the King James, as y'all would say, the King James. Genesis 14:18, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the what? The Most High. Most High, Most High, Most High. Numbers, Most High, Most High. Deuteronomy 32, when the Most High. In the Psalms, all throughout the Psalms, in the book of Daniel, Most High, Daniel 17, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Like there's something wrong with us saying Most High. The rule of 4. Why don't you change it to the rule of 98? It's even in the New Testament. Matthew 5:17. Cried aloud, what these are the demons. So the demons, the spiritual realm, on the left-hand side, call them the Most High God. Luke 8:28. Voice I do thee, Jesus, thou son of the Most High, thou son of the Most High. Acts 7:48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. So it's in the New Testament as well. Acts 16:17, the same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High. Hebrews 7:1. For Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God. So let's come back over here. So as you could tell, as a black Hebrew Israelite, because they say most high, if they say it 4 times, that's it. Well, guess what? The Bible's, it's mentioned in the Bible almost 100 times less, 98 times in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. This is why we don't take this guy seriously. Oh, and if you notice, there's not one precept, one scripture on the comment board. These are just these are basically vocab's peanut gallery. They're in the cheap shit, the cheap seats throwing popcorns and shit and talking shit.
Whatever, no harm, no foul. The second time you say, huh, that okay. The third time you're ready for the next one, and by the time you get to 4 of us, brother, are you a Hebrew Israelite? That's the rule of 4, bro. By the time they get to 4, it's 90% sure, man.
I got there, and I was definitely sure of it, and I was, and this had been already about the third group of gentlemen that I've been, interacting with, and so and watching your videos, I kind of got that box.
Oh, if this guy's an Israelite, a litmus test. Put some hip hop music, trap music, hip hop music, whatever there's so many genres of music. It shows you how creative we are, even in our wickedness. Put some music on and tell this guy to take him to a club and watch how he dance. If the way he dances, I'll know if he's a small hat or a Jake. I'll know that the way he dances, if he can dance, he might break his hip trying to dance. Like I said, he doesn't come off to me as. And what do you think, you brothers out there among GMS and even the other camps? Paul Kersey, what do you think? I'm Paul Kersey. I know you think he's an Edomite. I agree with you in advance because I know what you're going to say. This guy's an Edomite with a fro. He's an Edomite with a fro. Just having a little fun here. Sometimes you don't really have a topic and just go with the subject here.
And so I went up to him, and they all sit together in their cubicles. I went up to them and I was like, "Hey man, what camp are you a part of?" I don't know if that was the right question to ask. I just wanted to see if maybe I was kicking ground anywhere, And he was like, "Yeah, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about." And
sounds made up, man. Do you think like 5 or 6, a bunch of, I don't know the number, the 10, 5, they all hang out. They're not wearing fringes, but they're Israelites, part of the same clique, and they're gonna let this guy come into the circle. Wouldn't you think that this guy might be working for the boss to find out that you guys might be Israelites? Let's send this guy. He looks like, we know he's a small hat, but let's send him in there. Nah, I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that. But this guy, this demon right here, he's smiling his ass off, man.
And I was like, "Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to assume. I just, just the way that you were speaking, I figured you were a Hebrew Israelite." And then he was like, "Well, in a manner of speaking, we're all Hebrew Israelites." And I was like, "All right, there seems to be something." But they're very generous to me. They're very kind. They want to. Guys don't seem combative. They seem to like me. They seem to They seem to believe that I add value. They talk very, very highly of me, knowing that I'm a Christian, that I profess Christ as King and Lord, and that He is God. And they even.
He is a God. He is a God among gods. We are gods. That's something that goes over Vocab's head as well.
Sometimes seem to have a Trinitarian twist to them. And so I just kind of wanted to get your perspective on who you think they might be with. So this way I might be able to,
Now, you're not telling me what city you're in? That might help.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in Margate, Florida, but I work in Deerfield Beach, Florida. And the GMS gentlemen that I work with, they would be on Clematis Road in West Palm Beach.
So they would be like GMS.
So I think one of the guys at least said they're GMS, did say that they're GMS. So any GMS Florida guys that this guy, you encountered this guy, please do a video on it, you know, and just let me know what the deal is. I doubt it. I think this guy made it up, but I could be wrong. You know how the devil operates.
Yes. What is this? What city is it? What's the closest biggest city?
To where I am, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just based on what you're saying, I don't know. Especially the part about them potentially sometimes being Trinitarian. ETT, I see you. I just got you in the green room. Hang out and eat some fries or some lettuce or whatever you do for a second there. Yeah. So I don't know. Based on what you're saying, I mean, I can tell you the kind of groups it isn't. I mean, this doesn't sound like it's going to be IUIC, GMS, Sakari, ICK, those kinds of one Westers. Who it would be, I don't know. Do they seem to accept Jesus as the Messiah?
Yes. Sometimes they'll say Jesus. Which I found interesting. Because they didn't say there's no J in Hebrew yet, so I thought that was interesting. And yeah, they one of them asked me to find a book for them about the 12 tribes because they were asking me for resources and they were asking me to kind of get my input into the conversation and what I thought. And they seemed to really care, and they wanted me to find out anything I could about the 12 tribes. And so, yeah. Well, I mean, I would just ask them, they're not in the camp, but like, do you guys have a fellowship, a meetup, a Bible study, a group, I would just find out what it is, because there's all these new little ones, and the characteristics you're saying aren't anything I would be aware of, because if you were like, say, in Louisiana,
look at this guy. This guy's a small hat. Look at the schnoz on the guy. This guy's a small hat.
If you're in Louisiana, I might say, that might sound like, Omar Abuse people. Maybe they're at that church that does the Hebrew school, the Hebrews or whatever. It might be like, something like them. But based on where you're at, I don't know who that would be in particular. Especially the thing with Trinitarian, that's especially with those, the only Hebrews like group I know that even messes around with that is the school of the Hebrews. Now, I'm sure there's probably more I don't know about. Now, they don't talk about it a lot, but it is on their website. Possible you could have somebody in Florida that's associated with the Louisiana folks because their reach is big. That's the only group I could think of that would match what you're saying. But I would just ask them, who they are and what they. The closest I would think of is Omar Abuse people that are in Louisiana. And they usually tend. The ones I met are usually pretty cool. They're not too like. It could be Israel of God, maybe Israel of God, but I don't know. Israel of God. Based on what you're saying, I would doubt it's Israel, especially the Trinitarian thing. If you're saying that ain't happening with Israel with God, but it's time to ask questions, man. I'm glad that you're aware. I'm glad they're around you, but you really just need to ask questions. What's your view on the triune nature of God? What's your view of the deity of Christ? Do you believe that?
Was talking to one of them about, we did get into a little bit of a conversation about the nations. I'm not sure if they're one Westers, but I do think that they believe that they at least are equal.
Yeah, well, if they're one Westers, they're like some of the nicest one Westers you might have ever met. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're part of GOCC. Check this out. A passage that I like to quote sometimes on the screen here is John chapter 1. The whole passage is fire, but look here at verse 9, everybody, so we can get the context when we get down to 13. The true light, which gives light to everyone, which is interesting, it says that, by the way.
Every Israelite.
The world, he was in the world, and the world was made through.
The world goes back to the Greek cosmos, which means a certain segment of people talking about the Israelites.
The world did not know him.
The world did not know him. The world that did not know him is talking about the people that he came up around. You had Israelites scattered all over the place. This is another scripture that these stupid Christians use to say, see, he came to his own and his own did not receive him. How in the fuck did he come to all of his own if you had 10 tribes, I'll say 9 tribes, the northern kingdom, the kingdom Israel, that no longer exists according to experts. We know where they went, where they came to the Americas, the the Indian and so-called Latin, which they all Indians. They were all on. They were all on the other side of the world, the fourth part of the earth. Revelation 6 and Amos 7, the fourth part of their land. Acts 1, around about the 6th verse, where it said the uttermost part of the earth, because the tribes were already over here before the kingdom of Judah came over here by force into slavery on slave ships. They were already over here. The white man, Esau, when he encountered the first people he encountered were Israelites. They were speaking Hebrew. Those were Hebrews. That's why Columbus had, what's the guy's name? I always forget his name. Not Tracino. Damn. Forget his name. I mean, if you look it up, if you go to Columbus translators, the name, matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. Let me go ahead and do that. Christopher Columbus translators. Luis de Torres. Luis de Torres. Let me click on Wikipedia. I did this a lot of times. I just got to bring it back in case somebody gets stupid. Let me see. Let me put in the word Hebrew. Do this quick. Hebrew. Okay, de Torres was converso. Converso was a Jew who converted to Catholicism in Spain or Portugal by force. Torquemada, the Inquisition. If you didn't accept it, they tortured you. They put you to death during the 14th and 15th centuries of one of his or her descendants. Converso. Apparently born Yosef ben Halevi Helvri, I believe that is, chosen by Columbus for his knowledge of Hebrew, Chaldaic, and Arabic. He said, let me get somebody that's, familiar or speak fluent Hebrew, which comes from the Levant, Chaldaic, which could be Hebrew, couldn't, maybe not. I believe it is. Arabic, which is Hebrew. What's this guy, the dictionary, Yehudi, Ben Yehudi, he came to the conclusion that the actual Hebrew, the people that are actually speaking Hebrew, when they went back to the land of Israel, before that, when we were gathering Edomites and these so-called Jews to tell them that they're the people. He said that they had to get the original language back. So he did a lot of studying. You can look it up, and he came to the conclusion that the Arabic language is actually the Hebrew, but he tweaked it a little bit. So why did Columbus? Let me read again. Louis de Toro died 1493, and he died, he did his job, and that's it. Was Christopher Columbus interpreter on his first voyage to America. De Torres was a conversant. He was a so-called Jew. He had to embrace Catholicism because of the Torquemada. Apparently born Joseph ben, son of Halevi, the Levite. Helvri, chosen by Columbus for his knowledge of the Hebrew, Aramaic, and Chaldaic, Middle Eastern languages. So Columbus had to know something, that had to have an idea that these people are from the Middle East, are from the Great Levant. How do you know? I don't know. So I had to prove all things. So Columbus got Teresa, and there was others, but he was the chief interpreter. He said, I got to get somebody that's fluent in Hebrew, Chaldaic, and Arabic. How do you know? I don't know.
His own and his own people did not receive him.
What does that mean, vocab? It means the people of his town. I believe that's Luke 4, if I'm not mistaken. When he read, opened the Torah on the Sabbath, he read Isaiah 61. He closed the scroll, and he said, today this prophecy has been fulfilled. So what was he saying? I'm the guy. I'm the guy in Isaiah 61. So they said, what the hell? This little nigga, you know? And they actually physically tried to throw him off a mountain. Remember, he didn't do too many miracles in I believe it was Nazareth. Was it Nazareth? He did most of his miracles. He was in Jerusalem, of course, and in Galilee, but Nazareth, you know, he did miracles, and they said, "Man, we don't, man, fuck you," type of attitude. So, what does it mean? He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. This is a go-to scripture for these dumbass Christians. Who is his own? The ones that he came up with. Oh, the Most High told me to come to the Israelites. They don't want to accept me as a whole. I guess I'm going to go to the other nations. That's talk. He said he came to his own, and his own people, his townspeople, that knew him when he was a boy. I remember when you tripped over, you was helping your father, and you busted your ass. You started crying. How you going to be the Messiah? Did not receive him, but to all Israelites who did receive him, what Israelites received him? The 12 disciples, the 12. Actually, it was 84 that received him, who believed, and Christians don't even know that, who believed in his name. He gave the right. Where you going? Come on, this is a Roman Empire. White people are going to start following the black man? Give me a fucking break. This is a joke. Like I said, this is why we don't take Vocab Malone seriously.
But to all who did receive him, so this is important. I want to point this out there. Notice how he comes to the world. The world doesn't know him. He comes to his own people. They don't receive him. So it's talking about both groups, and essentially, by and large, Christ being rejected by both. And now, out of that, it refers.
So he went to America, and all the tribes, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Issachar, all the tribes just, nah, we don't accept. Who the hell are you? Better get out of here before we do something to you. Fucking stupid, man. This is why so many Christians that are Jakes, mainly the men, the flock of my pastor are men, are leaving Christianity and becoming Israelites. Because this is the old song. They want a new song, man. Listen to a little bit more, then we'll close it.
Refers to all who received him. So it's not
all Israelites, all Israelites, all Israelites. Read Romans the 9th chapter.
Differentiating with all of his own people who received him. You've got the world and you got his own people.
Right. You got the world, cosmos, a certain segment of people. You had two types of Israelites. You had Israelites that knew that they were Israelites that were living in the land, that lived in the land, Palestine, Israel, Jerusalem, Nazareth, Capernaum, Galilee. Then you had Israelites that knew that they were Israelites that were living out of the land. Perfect example, the Alexandrian Jews. When Stephen in Acts 6 and Acts 7, he cursed out these Israelites for not he went into the history, right? And brought it up all the way up from Abraham up to the Lord, our Lord, and they stopped their ears and they killed them. And it said that they were Alexandrian Jews, meaning they were Israelites and knew that they were Israelites that were living, that lived or dwelt in Alexandria, Egypt. You had a large community of Israelites, so-called blacks, that were living in Egypt, in Alexandria, Egypt, and maybe other parts of Egypt. Why do you think the angel Gabriel came to Joseph and told Joseph and Mary, flee ye into Egypt? The prophecy, he shall come from Egypt, merely paraphrasing. So this shit is weak. This old time religion, Christianity is weak as hell.
Both are mentioned. And now the next line is, but to all who did receive him,
Among Israel,
who believed in his name.
what was his name? Because he says it's Jesus. He even said that. Yeah, they say Jesus. Did anybody call our Lord Jesus? No, there was no such thing as the letter J. The letter J came about with Tresino, 1524. He added 4 more letters to the Greek, Latin, Hebrew, really the Greek, Latin, because they were Latin. Originally, the Greek alphabet was 22 letters. Where did it come from? The Hebrew alphabet, 22 letters. He added 4 more letters. One of the letters was I. He added a hook on it, which became an extension, which is known as the sound was J. No, there was no such sound as J. If somebody said J, Jew, Ja, it didn't mean anything.
He gave the right to become children of God. So a few things about that. You receive Christ by believing in who he is. So his name's not just this special magical name. The idea is everything the Bible says about him. It's a Hebraic way. Same name as his character, his attributes. So you believe that. Aaron, I don't know. You keep on calling and dropping back. The green room still with people. I don't know what is going on unless you're getting dropped off. But so I don't know what's going on there. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who received him, believe his name. He gave the right to become children of God, and watch, it gets even thicker here. Who were born. So now it's going to talk about a birth, and new birth is an important concept for John. Just in John 3, born again. He talks about that, right? Who were born. Now watch, John's going to tell you how they were born. Not of blood. So this birth is not from blood.
So what is Romans? Why did Paul say what he said in Romans the 9th chapter? Let me move on, man. This dude's a clown.
Those who pierce.
Okay, my main man, end time teacher. And he's not GMS, but he said it in a recent video. I came up, I learned pretty much everything from GMS. He was a former Christian. So let's see what he has to say, and then I'm gonna close it.
Christ side when he was on the cross 2,000 years ago. They're going to see him when he returns, right? So I'm just interested from your perspective, if those men are not back alive today in incarnation, how are those men going to witness Christ's return for themselves?
Right.
Watch this guy. Watch this used car salesman come up with some bullshit.
Well, I'm going to answer it, but do you believe that if you do, can you tell me? Because to me, that regardless of the answer, it doesn't relate to reincarnation in any way. But could you maybe tell me why you think it maybe would? Is there some way that you think it would relate to reincarnation?
Reincarnation basically means, say, for an example, if you die, you can come back again in the future as another being, right? So same thing with, say, for example, John the Baptist, right? It was people called him John the Baptist, but it was really Elijah, right? But that's a different matter there. But the point is that this would be an example of reincarnation, because those men that pierced Christ's side 2,000 years ago, obviously they died back then. But here we see when Christ is returning, those men who pierced the side, they're going to be there to witness Christ's return, right? So the only argument I've seen of someone trying.
Well, that means that they're 2019 years old. Yeah, 2000. There's actual men. There's a handful of men. Those Romans never died. They just dead. They're walking around old as fossils. That's what that means. Or they were reincarnated. The reason why you Edomites are going into captivity because you put us into captivity. Well, I never put you with my foreparents. Well, guess what? You are your foreparents coming back again. What did you do in the past life?
Try to explain that is, somebody who believes in preterism, right? Which of course me and you don't subscribe to that ideology. that Christ returned in 70 AD. Obviously, that's false. Right. So I'm just interested to see your view on that, because here we are.
Also known as eschatology, all things being fulfilled, with this clown William Bell, blockhead Negro William Bell, talking about everything and the prophecies were fulfilled. But does that include Revelation? Because Revelation came after 70 AD. John the Baptist, or John the apostle, John the Revelator, some call him, he received revelations long after 70 AD. It had to be somewhere in the 90s when Domitian Caesar was ruling. He sentenced him to the Isle of Patmos. Look it up.
2,000 some years later, after Christ. So how are those men who pierced his side going to see Christ when he physically returns? If they're not alive again today, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the definition of reincarnation, where do you think the best place to turn, say in the Bible, to understand? Like, you gave a definition. Where do you think is a good place?
Well, I'd give you don't subscribe to the Apocrypha, right?
No, but I mean, do you believe it's a concept related in there? I mean,
Well, I'd quote what is that? The book of Second Ezra, chapter 14, verse 35. It says, I'm nearly paraphrasing. You can get it for the audience. But it says, "After we die, then shall the judgment come when we shall live again." Right. So, say for an example, if we go to what is that? John the 9th chapter. Christ came across the man who was born blind, and the apostles asked him, why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or for the sins of his parents, right? So we see this concept that people can be born with disabilities, say blindness, they could be deaf, missing limbs and stuff like that, as a judgment for things that they've done in their past life. Whereas I would come with the great millstone ideology, right, the Hebrew Israelite ideology regarding reincarnation.
I know, but
He said Great Millstone, but that's all the One Westers. IUIC teaches it, ISUBK teaches it, Sakari teaches it, and all of them, HODC, all of them, Priest Danyala, all the One Westers, the former One Westers, as he calls us, labels us, they teach the same thing. So he said Great Millstone, but he should have said all One Westers. So we do agree on that.
Where is like this definition of reincarnation, or the concept? Where do you believe it's laid out in Scripture?
Well,
of course it is, and you know it. You know all the scriptures that we go to prove reincarnation is a biblical concept.
The easiest way I can explain it is with the one scripture I quoted, Second Ezra 14:35, right? Where we die, but then we can be born again in a new life. So it's a new body, right? A new flesh body, but it's the same spirit back on birth again, just in a new body, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason I asked that first is because the idea that reincarnation, like whether it's taught or not in the Bible, like I always think it's interesting. People have this idea of reincarnation, right? But like the question is, okay, where is that even like defined in the Bible, right? The same spirit in a new body. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I go to Elijah, right? Excuse me, John the Baptist. I go to John the Baptist.
Perfect example. He's going to go to Malachi 4, and he's going to go to Matthew's 11, and he's going to Matthew 17. And this is the Messiah, the Christ, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, making it plain as day, clear as crystal. He explains to his disciples, which were 84 at that time. There was 12 plus the others. He made it plain to them. And the reason why this guy can't see it, because number one, he was told not to see it. What he does, he's a master at regurgitation. He doesn't have his own mind.
Christ said in what is it, Matthew chapter 10, verse 17, that John the Baptist was Elijah, right? Now, I know people bring up,
Actually, Matthew's 11.
well, people asked John the Baptist who was Elijah beforehand, and he said he wasn't. Now, there's an easy explanation for why that is, because according to what is that, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 11, it says the former things are not remembered, right? So he didn't know that he was Elijah in his past life, but Christ did know that, right? So that's a clear example of a new body, but someone else's spirit being put into us. That would be an example of reincarnation.
He typing his ass off, bro. He tap dancing with them fingers. Damn devil.
Well, could I ask you if John, you're saying he didn't know, but then why, when they asked him if he was Elijah, why would he say no if he didn't know? Wouldn't he say, I don't know?
Well, let me respond to that. They asked him, are you Elijah? He said no. Obviously, the reason why is because he didn't know that he was, so he wanted to give them a direct answer on that and say that no, I'm not.
After this, I'm going to close it. I may come back and do another part to this video. Let's see. And I hope you can hear this. I truly hope you can hear this.
Right, because as I said, the former things can't be remembered according to Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 11.
Okay, because the answer he gives, though, he says no. But if he didn't know, he should say I don't know. But he indicates that he knows he's not Elijah.
Come on. Come on. The reason why he said no, because he didn't know. He didn't say, well, I may be. Come on, you fucking used car salesman. Jake, let me tell you about Jake. Let me tell you what I believe. Jake, this is how Jake buys a brand new car, not a brand new car, but a pre-owned car, used car. You go to the dealership, you get a guy like this guy here, Vocab the used car salesman, that'll show you how many cup holders, the leather seats, the system. This system, this sound system is pumping, it's bumping, it's banging. The outside of the car, the way it looks, the new car smell, because you got spray for that. You can take a used car and spray the new car smell. The way it looks, normally with your girl, and they're looking at the tires, they're not even asking to look up under the hood. They're looking at the outside of the car, which it could have been painted, could have been bashed up, and they pulled out the dents. It takes 2 days to do that. One day if you had a crew on there, the inside, the interior looks nice, the system is bumping, they'll buy the car. That's what niggas do. That's what Negroes do. They buy the car based on looks in the system. You know what Edomites do? Edomite men, they'll do a review on the make and model of the car, the pros of the car, the cons of the car, and they'll make if there's a lot of pros, because there's always going to be cons. If you got more pros than cons, you say, well, this sound like a good. I did all the reviews. Then you go to the dealership. Another thing, you go. There's Kelly Blue Book is one, Edmunds is another. Then there's another one, original one, US something, not USDA, but that's the most accurate one. But all of them, anytime you Negroes go to buy a car, new or used, dealership, whatever, pre-owned, just go to Kelly Blue. Kelly Blue Book is the simplest one I normally go to. Edmunds might be $1,000 more, $1,000 less. They might give different reviews, but Kelly Blue Book and that's something that Jake doesn't do. They don't find out they might get a good deal on the car, but according to the price pursuant to Edmunds, the car might actually cost, because it's pre-owned, it might, the price from a dealer might be $15,000. You go to the dealership, the guy sells you a car for $18,000, and you're happy because you don't know what the price is supposed to be. Now coming back to Esau, the Edomite men, not women, Edomite men, they do all the reviews. They go to the dealership. They ask some questions. They ask for the price, and they already know what the price is supposed to be. If the guy says, "Oh, the price is 18,000," and he knows by Edmunds that it's 15,000, I'm giving you a lesson, on how to buy a car. You do the reviews, do the Edmunds review, Kelly Blue Book, US, whatever. Somebody can help me. That was the first book, and we used to carry that around with us, me and my cousin. And we used to catch some dealers all the time. Wait a minute, man. They'll charge you for a XL when it's supposed to be. They'll charge you. There's different classes of cars too. You can have the same model. You can have the standard model. Then you can have the one with all the bells and whistles on it. But they'll play with you if you don't know. So Jake will just buy the car. Oh, the sound system. Oh, this. Oh, that. And then they don't realize that they got ripped off. Either Esau, coming back to Esau, they'll check everything. They'll go to the dealership. The dealership say it's 1,800. They say, well, look, according to Edmunds, it's supposed to be 1,500. If the dealer says, no, we can't do that, no, this is the price, this is the price. You know what the Edomites gonna do? They're gonna get out and walk and go to the next dealer. Or wait for a sale. If you get a new car, wait for a sale. Wait for the President's Day sale. Wait for the Christmas sale. Wait for this sale. Because they bring people into the dealership by bringing down the price. The best time to buy a car, wait another 2-3 months or so. Remember, the used car prices with this whole Crown Vic thing went up. They said that it was more money to buy a used car than a new car because you couldn't get a new car. So they're overstocked with cars. So they're desperate. Wait about another 2 months, 3 months. When they have a sale, when you see them commercials, come into so-and-so dealership and everything's on sale. Everything's cut down by 20%. Try to find whatever rebates you can find. And that's how Edomite does things. They smart when it comes to that, not you Negroes. You Negroes are good, especially jewelry. Niggas buying jewelry, guarantee you. There was a guy named Jacob the jeweler, guarantee you he was ripping Jake off. You don't know nothing about gold. You don't know the what's the damn the spot price of gold. You don't know the spot price of gold. You don't know the spot price of silver. You don't know that diamonds are in abundance, and the reason why it's expensive because of what do you call it? What the hell you call it? Not promotion, marketing. They market it, Look, you want to marry a woman, you get a diamond ring, you tell her, look, we're going to get a zirconian, a cheap ring. We're going to tell everybody that shit is real. And then spend the money on shit that we need. Anyway, let me get back into this. Please forgive me.
Okay, but Christ said that he is Elijah.
Well, he says in the spirit and power of Luke. So that's right.
Didn't I say that earlier? Oh, that's spirit and power in Luke 1:17. No, he broke it down for you. He broke it down. When you go to Luke 1, it's not in the words of the Messiah. It's in black. I looked it up. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do that again. Let me go to Luke. Let me go to Luke. Okay, Luke 1:17. Let's click on red letter. All right, let me do this. Let me click red letter. See if the red letter. I guess the red letter is not working. Wait a minute. Let me try this. Let me go to Mark. And you put in red letter. I'm sorry. Red letter. Okay, let me boom. Let me go to this one, red letter. Maybe it's not working. Let me go to Matthew. Bear with me for a minute, please. Matthew 10. Let me click on red letter. Okay, red letter. It works. So Luke was talking, not the Lord. He said he's going to come in the spirit and power of Elijah. But in Matthew 11 and Matthew 17, it's in a red letter edition, meaning the Lord was speaking. So who has authority over who? Does Luke have authority over our Lord, or does the Lord have authority over Luke? So you're a fucking clown.
He wouldn't qualify it that way if he was Elijah. Also, you know who appeared at the Mount of Transfiguration with Moses, right?
Right.
Who was that?
Yeah.
Moses and Elijah. That it was transfigured. Let's look up that word. Used car salesman at it again. Let's go to Matthew 17. Matthew 17. And was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Transfigured.
Strong's G 3339. Metamarphao. Metamarphao.
To change into another form, to transform, to transfigure. Christ appeared and was changed and was resplendent with divine brightness on the Mount of Transfiguration. So he showed a likeness of Elijah and a likeness of Moses. They didn't actually come, all right, like Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Guys, fast talking. That's what this devil's doing.
Yeah, but I'd say that was after John the Baptist was beheaded. But I'd say that was
Okay.
after John the Baptist.
So the disciples knew what John the Baptist looked like, right?
Yes.
Right, because some of them were his disciples, correct?
Right.
Okay, so if they saw at the Mount of Transfiguration Moses and Elijah, wouldn't they say, "Oh, look, it's Moses and John the Baptist"?
No, they wouldn't, because when you read the rest is further down in Matthew 17, he said that the scribes and the Pharisees say that Elijah will come, because they just saw an image of Elijah, and I guess they had icons, which would be considered icons painted back then. I guess Jake, they draw stuff on things, so they had a likeness as to what John looked like, or Elijah looked like, and Moses looked like. He's fast talking. He's a used car salesman trying to tell you, look, we got 8 cup holders. We got 8 cup holders.
Well, it was his spirit that came back that they seen there. Same thing when we see, say for an example, in what is that, 1 Samuel, the 28th chapter, right? When Saul went and summoned Samuel, right? So it was just in a different form that he came up in.
But it doesn't say that the spirit of Moses or the spirit of Elijah was in the Mount Transfiguration. It says Moses and Elijah. In fact, Peter wanted to build him houses. Would you build a house for a spirit?
They weren't actually there. That was holograms, if you will. But because you're not spiritual, you're not going to get it. See, he has to lead him. ETT has to lead him further down into the chapter of Matthew 17. And I read it. I made it crystal clear. I read it in the red letter. He made it crystal clear. So I hope you don't let this used car salesman from Pasadena put this boat, tell you how many cup holders there's in the car. We got 8 cup holders. We got 10 cup holders.
Well, they came in. They could have had physical forms that they came in, of course, obviously, because they seen them there, right?
It doesn't say whether they actually came or there was actually an image. Did not the Lord show himself after he rose, when they saw him in the where he was buried at? They thought he was a keeper of that feel, for lack of a better term, because he changed his face. He can change his face. Luke 24. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Let me go to that. Remember, he had spiritual power. Let's go to Luke 24. Luke 20, I'm sweating my ass off. Luke 24. Let me come down here. The road to, what was Luke 24? Other appearances. 36, I believe it's 36. Luke 24, 36. And as they thus spake, Yahweh, our Lord himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted and supposed that they had seen a spirit. So they saw the Lord. I got to come up above this. Okay, I believe it's the 30th verse, Luke 24, verse 30. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave them. Okay, that's not it. That's not what I'm looking for. I got to go up above that. Okay, it's way up here. It's way up here. I believe it's here, 22. Let's try 22, verse 22. Yeah, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. A certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so. A woman said, then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart, believe all that the prophets have spoken. I got to go up a little bit more. I gotta go way up here. I believe it's here, 15th verse. And it came to pass that while they communed or talked together and reasoned, the Messiah himself drew near and went with them, but their eyes were holding that they should not know him. So he probably had his act. These are some, I'm giving you some of the reasons why they couldn't see him, right? He either had his actual face, what he looked like, but he put something in their mind that they couldn't see that it was him, or he changed his face, one or two. So if he can do that, Philip, there was some of them that appeared and reappeared. The Lord appeared and reappeared. So you mean to tell me he doesn't have enough power to cause what we call a hologram of Elijah and Moses? Elijah and Moses were not there. And Peter said, let's build tabernacles for them. But they didn't have to because they disappeared. Where did they go? They should have stuck around. Why didn't Elijah and Moses stick around? Oh, I'm back. Let me go. This is the Lord. Oh, yeah. Hey, you're Peter. You're the 12. Yeah. Why didn't they stick around? Because they wasn't there, dumbass. You fucking clown. Wait a minute. Let me find this. Listen to a little bit more.
Yeah. So, but you said the spirit. But that I mean, I'm saying it seems like a very, it seems like a very, like it's not John the Baptist. It was Elijah there. but they just saw John the Baptist. And also, it's just.
What do you mean they just saw John? What do you mean they just saw John the Baptist? John the Baptist was put to death.
Here's John the Baptist, and then here's Elijah. It just seems like you would have John the Baptist appear again, or something like that, and that'd be a perfect time to explain this.
And he does explain it. He does explain it.
Names that people call us in real life, right? So when John the Baptist was there, people called him John the Baptist, right? That's what people knew him as, but it was really the spirit of Elijah that was housed within that earthly body. But the common men who lived around and interacted with him, they named him, right, and called him John the Baptist, right? So that's why people would recognize him as John the Baptist. But that doesn't mean that he was not Elijah.
Well, he said he wasn't Elijah, though.
Right, but Christ said that he was.
Because he didn't know. The author was the Messiah. The Messiah saw everything. He knew who the disciples were.
And with that Matthew 17, verse 10, Christ said that this is Elijah. He didn't say that he's coming in the likeness of him. He said that this is him.
And he has to type it in because he's not familiar with that scripture. He's not familiar with it. There's a reason why you can't get it, because you're an Edomite. You better hope at least you are one of them other nations. You were damn sure not an Israelite.
So if Jesus says in the power and spirit of Elijah, how is that the same thing as being Elijah?
Jesus never said that. Jesus never said that, clown. Why would Jesus say that? Jesus never said that. Let's go back to Luke. Luke 1. Let's go back to Luke 1. Just to be fair. Let me do this. Click on the red letter. It's on red letter. It's on red letter. Let me start from the first verse. For as much as many have taken in hand to set forth in order a declaration of those things which are most surely believed among us, even as they, this is not the Lord speaking. This is Luke speaking. And when he makes a statement in 17th chapter, he's quoting Malachi 4, and he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. This is not the Lord speaking. I just caught you on the lie. Well, maybe you wasn't lying. Maybe trying to do some fast talking. Let me bring it back, because the Lord didn't say that. The Lord didn't say he will come in the spirit of power and Elijah. He said, and if you will believe this or accept this John the Baptist is Elijah, which is forth to come, fulfilling Malachi chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. You can't get it because you're not an Israelite. Let's bring it back.
So if Jesus says in the power and spirit of Elijah,
I said it, and I proved that when you go to Luke 1, the Lord doesn't say one word, because if he did, it would come up in red. I just proved that.
how is that the same thing as being Elijah?
Well, say for an example, right? The scriptures speak about what is that? I want to say Amos.
You just stay in freaking Matthew's 11 verse, around about the 10th verse on down. He clearly says it. If you will receive it, this is Elijah which is forth to come. Then he said it again. And in Matthew 17. Just stick with the scriptures, man.
7, right? The spirits of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, right? So it doesn't negate the fact that he was the same spirit, just in a new body.
ETT, I'm surprised at you, man. You're not coming straight, brother. You know, you're in a spiritual war. You got to come with your best weapons, and you got to hit them in them vital areas, man. Spiritually vital areas. You got to cut the dragon's head off, and that's the dragon right there. That's the dragon. Got to cut his head off, man. You should have stayed in either Matthew. You should have went to Malachi 4, 5, and 6. Then, and don't listen to this guy. Oh, the Lord said the Spirit, he come in the Spirit and the power of Elijah. That did Christ never said that. Or the Christ never said that. Stick with Malachi 4, and I'm gonna close on this one. I may come back. I'm having a little fun. You lacking, my man. You man, go back to selling used cars, bro. You know, to Jake's. That's why so many of them Jakes, that woman that roll up on the ISUPK, she's the same. That's a woman that will go to the car dealership and buy a car that's $10,000 on the open market, and the fucking dealer get to double that, 20,000, and she thinks she got a good car. And tell me I'm fucking lying. Tell me I'm fucking lying. Tell me that them Jakes in the hip hop world, when they buy their jewelry, the number one guys they go to is others. Jacob the jeweler, which is a small hat, which is with rip. I don't know if he's still alive or whatever. He saw them niggas coming, man. He saw them niggas coming. The niggas don't know how to appraise nothing. Jewelry, cars, house. Nigga get a nice house, he'll buy it from an Edomite. Edomite trying to get 10,000. You come along. Let me say 10 million. Esau see a rapper, he'll sell it for 25 million, and the nigga buy it. The nigga buy it, man. You know nothing about you have no negotiation skills, you have no reasoning skills. You look at things from the outside, you don't look at things from the inside. You could have got a car that looked nice with a system. Here I go back to the analogy of a used car. You could have a blown fucking head gasket. And you know, when you get a blown head gasket, it doesn't just happen right away. There's little signs to it. You don't even check the dipstick to see if there's that milky white substance. That means there's a blown head gasket. But it starts, it runs. Yeah, you can drive a car on a blown head gasket for like six months. And then eventually that should have started overheating. Anyway, man, let me close this, man. I'm sweating.